What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and new details are being released about the reconciliation bill that was just passed in the Senate and is going to be making its way through Congress to be passed before the midterm elections. This is your breaking news, stimulus check update and stimulus package update. Now, first off, hope that you guys are having a blessed Monday. Headlines coming out everywhere about the passage of this reconciliation bill that has taken over a year and has finally now made its way through the Senate. Take a look, you guys. Headlines coming out like this. Senate passes groundbreaking health, tax, and climate bill that proves what Congress is capable of. And we're hearing that a lot of this is going to start ramping up. All the provisions of the past legislation, executive actions are going to start happening now. It's going to start unfolding as we get closer to these midterm elections. And I've got some video footage you're not going to want to miss, as they're going to be covering the details of this bill. And they're saying that there are rebates and credits for American people if you follow some of the provisions for this climate initiative that are included. I'm going to share with you all the details. You're not going to want to miss it. And you guys, I let you know as it was passing yesterday that it's officially done in the Senate. It's making its way now to the House. We're hearing they're going to be holding a vote on Friday. We're going to see if there's any additional modifications made. As also, I've got some video footage for you from California Representative Congresswoman Chu that is going to be mentioning that there is not the child tax credits included. There's not the free childcare, the free college tuition. And they're going to be proposing making some amendments, as we've already seen from Senator Bernie Sanders, who said, listen, we need to provide stimulus provisions for the American people in this reconciliation bill. Direct assistance payments have been stripped from this bill, and he's saying we need to get them back in. Now, also, we're hearing that if they're not included, there's executive actions by the president coming here very soon. We've heard could be in the next couple of days. And they said they're going to start with wiping out $10,000 of student loan debt and extending out the student loan forgiveness moratorium. So keep an eye out for that. But you guys, let's dive into the video footage so you can get all the details. They're going to be covering what's included in this bill and some of the provisions that can help out people. Now, before we do, also wanted to mention, check the website this morning. We have well over 6,000 people now that have signed up at www.reliefroadmap.com to get access to the comprehensive list of all stimulus checks, states, cities, counties. I'm approaching nearly 100 different programs. We're likely going to have more than that here very soon. And you guys, if you missed it in my last video, mark your calendars. August 22nd is my drop dead deadline, tentatively. I want to have the website ready, the community page ready, the entire comprehensive list, everything assembled for you guys so you can have access to it and you don't miss out on anything, because there's tons of programs popping up. I'm getting word of more programs. We have massive budget surpluses for states. California alone, $300 billion with a B. Just so you understand how much that is, the state of California alone could give out stimulus checks to everybody in the nation of about $1,000 with that much money. That's how much excess funds there are. But it's not just California, it's Texas, New York, New Jersey, Florida, all across the nation, tons of excess funds, and they're sending out checks, and a lot of people don't even know that they're available. So I want to make sure that my viewing community doesn't miss out, because in many cases you got to apply, you got to be eligible, it's only available for a limited amount of time. If you haven't already, www.reliefroadmap.com, enter your email, do not miss out. Let your friends and family know, spread the word. And also, you guys, before we dive into the video footage, do me a quick favor, smash the like button if you appreciate that and the content that I provide here on the channel. That little gesture helps me out a ton. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Why not? Come join the Ram fam. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, where you can learn about growing wealth and personal finance. I hope that channel is a blessing to you as well. But with that being said, guys, let's take a look at the video footage where they're going to be breaking down the passage of the bill and the details of everything included and what more is likely on the way before these midterm elections. Let's go ahead and take a look.
But here's the big news this morning. Senate Democrats have done it. After more than a year of negotiations and dead ends, Democrats have passed a reconciliation package that includes a bulk of their priorities.
The yeas are 50, the nays are 50. The Senate being equally divided, the Vice President votes in the affirmative, and the bill, as amended, is passed.
No Republicans voted in favor of the final bill. It passed with a tie-breaking vote from Vice President Kamala Harris. The bill went through some last-minute changes during an overnight vote-a-rama. That process allows senators to suggest amendments to the bill before a final tally. 7 Democrats, including Senator Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona, voted in favor of a last-minute tax change introduced by Republican Senator John Thune of South Dakota. That led Democrats to scramble to replace that measure with one of their own. The final draft of the Inflation Reduction Act would invest more than $300 billion in the climate reform, the largest in American history. The bill allows Medicare to negotiate drug prices for the first time, cutting prescription drug prices for Americans 65 and older. It also adds a new 15% minimum tax on large corporations. The Inflation Reduction Act will now head to the House. Leadership there has announced lawmakers will return from the August recess on Friday to vote on the bill.
The Inflation Reduction Act will now head to the House, where it's scheduled for a final vote this coming week. Joining me now, Democratic Congresswoman Judy Chu of California. She's the chairwoman of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Let's start with the big news of the day. I guess it started yesterday, but into today. Your reaction to the Senate passing this bill, and I guess more importantly, do you expect any complications, hiccups, whatever, when it comes to the House next week or this week?
I am just so thrilled that it passed. You know, we've gone through ups and downs on this bill over the past year, and there were moments at which we wondered whether it would ever pass at all. But to have this bill, which will do so much for consumers in America, which will lower costs for them and reduce inflation, this is a major step forward. And I'm looking forward to flying back to Washington, D.C. to cast my vote to make sure that Americans can have a better future and to make sure that they will be able better to handle their economic situation.
You'll cast a yes vote. I guess the question is, are there a handful of your Democratic colleagues who may want changes to the legislation which could imperil its passage? Because as we all know, Speaker Nancy Pelosi has an extremely thin margin through which to move this.
Well, count me in as one who did want changes. I wanted to make the child tax credit permanent and to also have paid family leave and to include vision and hearing in Medicare provisions. But we all know that this is a result of compromise. In fact, some difficult forms of compromise where people really had to give up a lot of their dreams. Nonetheless, this is the most major investment in fighting climate change that we've ever had. And in addition to that, this will reduce costs for consumers. They are going to get actual rebates to make their homes more energy efficient. And there will be $1 billion in grants for affordable housing energy updates, which means that for so many Americans, the cost for their utilities will be lower. And in addition to that, drug prices will be lower because there's a $2,000 cap on drugs for senior citizens in Medicare. And also, insulin will be capped at $35 a month, at least for those in Medicare. So there will be significant portions of Americans that will see lower drug costs.
And well, I guess my curiosity here on the strict political terms, you talked about the benefits, you outlined all of them, but we only have about 3 months before the midterm elections. The insulin provision, for instance, will people who are on Medicare see before they cast ballots that their prescription drug costs are going down? Will people who are buying solar panels see tax rebates before they go and cast polls? How do you communicate this law to voters with such a short time frame to actually do so before people go to the polls?
Well, I think those who are going for rebates will see some immediate relief, and the caps on the drugs will take place fairly immediately. Some things will take a little longer time, such as negotiating for the prices of 10 drugs with Medicare. But I think that there will be things that people can see immediately. And in fact, this is a major accomplishment in terms of fighting inflation in this country, as people can see their prices come under control finally, because we know that we should not have ever had the situation where Americans pay the highest prices for prescription drugs in the world for the exact same drugs like insulin, which actually has not changed its formulary in 100 years.
Right.
Why are we in this situation? Well, we're finally getting a handle on it.
So there you have it, you guys. They said they're finally getting a handle on it. You heard some of the details of what's included, and she said that she's one of the people that's on board to get more provisions in there, those direct assistance payments to people to help them out. Now, in addition to that, we're going to be seeing what happens with stimulus checks, Social Security increases, all of these provisions people have been waiting for that we're hearing are coming back to the negotiating table. They're already there. We've heard about different gas stimulus checks, recession stimulus checks, inflation stimulus checks, sitting on the president's desk under consideration as we're hearing we're entering into a recession and people still need help. Now, we will see, because also keep in mind midterm elections are coming up, and Democrats who are in full control of Congress, they want to stay in control, and they're likely going to be passing a lot of legislation and executive orders to persuade people to keep them in power in Congress. And we will see, you guys, but we're hearing things are going to be ramping up, and I'm going to keep you up to date every step of the way. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget to take a quick second, smash the like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. Thank you so much. Leave your comments, share this out. If you want to stay up to date, it's free. Why not? Come join the Ram fam. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, where you can learn about growing wealth, personal finance. Hope that channel is a blessing to you. And if you haven't already, add your email to www.reliefroadmap.com to get an access to the comprehensive list of all stimulus checks. Going to be releasing that here very soon. Not quite ready yet, but I will keep you up to date. Tentative deadline is going to be August 22nd. And with that being said, you guys, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.